There was once a prominent wedding singer called Noura Al Taqaqa Nourah. She used to perform in Kuwait and in other neighboring countries. One day, a woman requested for her to sing at her daughter's wedding and promised a lucrative payment, especially for a wedding singer at that time. So Noura went with her band of 6 to 7 women to the house to perform. They arrived at a very beautiful house, shimmering with bright lights and filled with guests who were dancing and enjoying their time. They took their place, sitting down on a firm cushion, prepared on the floor as was customary back then. As they sat down, some of the female guests rushed over excitedly to greet Noura and her band. As mentioned before, she was very famous and well liked by all. As they greeted each other cheek to cheek, one of Noura's bandmates noticed that the cheeks of the women were very hot. It was like every single one of them had a fever and had a very masculine aura. Noura had noticed as well, but she told her bandmates to just brush it off. The band then went to a room that was prepared for them, where they can set their instruments, rehearse, and get themselves comfortable while waiting for the rest of the guests to arrive. Once they started performing, everything seemed fine at first, but eventually, the house was getting extremely crowded, that it looked impossible for a house that small to have so many people in it. It was getting really hard to walk or even move. The band continued to perform as it was approaching midnight. Between each song, the bride's and groom's parents would greet the band and thank them for the music. Some guests would also come up to them and request certain songs. During their break, one of the band members asked Noura, "Haven't you noticed something strange about the guests?" Noura was confused and said, "What do you mean?" Her bandmate replied, "Their skin was really rough, and we all felt a weird heat radiating from them." Noura laughed it off, saying, "You must be imagining things." But her bandmate insisted, "It's like they have spikes on their faces. How could you not notice?" Noura, by this point, was already nervous and a bit scared, but she tried not to show it. She told a few jokes to try to laugh it off and ease the tension, so the rest of the band wouldn't be nervous and ruin their performance. The band kept on playing, and it was now well after midnight. But the people were getting even more excited. And it didn't seem normal. They didn't show any signs of tiredness despite hours of dancing, and they even kept demanding for more. While the band continued singing, the band noticed something surreal that sent chills down their spine. They saw that the hands of the people dancing were very hairy. When, as the dancers lifted up their skirts, it revealed not legs, but hooves, similar to the legs of a goat, but stabbed with multiple knives and forks. The bandmates grew nervous and increasingly terrified that it began to show and affected their voices while singing. At that moment, Noura looked at the band and gestured to them to sing louder and act like everything was fine. They tried their best to keep on going, but one of her bandmates was so scared that she fainted. Some of the guests came up to them and asked if she was okay. Noura said that she's fine, she's just a little tired. So they went back to their prepared room. They were all scared now. Noura tried to calm them down by saying, You all know that these people are not human. We know they are Jinn. Now, we need to act like we don't know anything and that everything is fine so they don't harm us, and then we can leave safely. So they went back to the main area and continued singing again till the dawn prayers started. Suddenly, the air grew extremely cold and the power suddenly went off. It was dead silent. At that point, the band just lost it and they started screaming in terror, but Noura told them to stop screaming. She started reciting prayers and verses of the Quran. She instructed the band to run for the exit. When they finally managed to leave the house, they saw an old man nearby. He was shocked to see them and asked, "How the hell did you come here?" They didn't know if he was human at first, but it turned out he was just a normal man. When they told him that they were at a wedding, performing as a band, the man looked at them, face contorted with confusion, and asked, "What wedding?" Noura turned to point at the house, but to the shock and horror of the whole band, the house was completely empty and dark, with no sign of a wedding or that anyone was even there. They started asking themselves, where were the people, the cars, the lights? The floor was covered in sand and there were no signs of anyone having been there, no footsteps, nothing. He said to them that no one has lived in that house for 10 years, not since the owners left. He shared that the house is haunted and no one dares step foot in it. After that incident, the singer Noura never sang or attended a wedding ever again.